Hello, everybody, and welcome to the series premiere of the Fan Experience Podcast. I am your host, Mike Katos, joined by my co-host, Rick Molina. Fan Experience Podcast is the podcast that gives sports fans a different platform to voice their opinions about their favorite teams, their favorite sports, and share their fan experiences. Everybody has a story about that one iconic moment that really got them hooked on their favorite team and things that they've experienced in the stadium, watching at home, watching with friends, watching with families, you know, forming bonds with other people over sports. My co-host Rick, we met at a Mets game 10 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. And now we're sitting here hosting this podcast for you to come on and share your experiences. And we're excited to hear all the different stories that you guys have, and all the moments that you've shared, with everybody that's close to you. The producers of this podcast is Playing the Field. We are Playing the Field as a sports fan community network. In addition to having this podcast that gives fans a voice to share their experiences, we also have a dating app available now in a beta version that helps singles find other sports fans. The web app is available at playthefielddating.com. If you join now with promo code Fan Experience, it's 100% free while it's still in beta. And you will also receive extra perks for signing up early as an early adopter. I'm going to just bring you on to Rick, and Rick's going to share a few thoughts.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fan Experience. Thank you for viewing tonight. It's our first show. We're real excited to have you on. And like Mike was saying, this podcast is about you, the fans, the experience of being a fan. When I think about being a sports fan, I think about the unifying force that sports is. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what team you root for. Sports unifies us all. Mike talks about how we met. He's a Met fan. I got invited to a game by a cousin of his, and that's how we met. And we were just sitting there rooting for the teams. I was rooting against the Mets. I don't even remember who they were playing yet, but I remember we were rooting against them. And we just started up talking about baseball, and somehow we were talking about football. Before you know it, we started a fantasy league. And 10 years later, we're doing a broadcast together. And that's what sports does. And what we want to do with this podcast is have you share your experiences, the ups and downs of being a sports fan. I think we can all speak to the fact that, being a sports fan has its high moments and its low moments. As a Yankee fan, 2004 was the lowest moment you can get. When I think about those times that we were winning the World Series in the late 90s and the early 2000s, I'm thinking about that 125-win season. I'm thinking about, the Brocious homer. I'm thinking about all those moments as a Yankee fan. And also, it lets us hope and it lets us dream. As football fans, the NFL drafts every year, and every year we look forward to seeing that fifth-round pick. Who's it going to be? Is he going to be that next star linebacker? Is he going to be that future quarterback that we have? And that's what sports really does. It just brings us all together. And you have such great moments. I mean, there's so many moments to share. There's so many moments where you meet a new friend like me did. You might meet your future Mr. and Mrs. MVP, as we like to say. You might meet a friend that's going to last forever. I mean, sports allows us to enjoy those moments, whether it be at a game, at a bar, at a barbecue, what have you. This is what this podcast is about. We want to hear those stories. We want regular people like yourselves to share them with us, and tell us how it's made a difference in your life. And that's what this podcast is about. So we look forward to bringing this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We look forward to hearing your stories. We look forward to sharing our stories. And welcome to the show. And speaking of sports memories, I think that day, Mike, we met. There was like a rainstorm or something like that, and we were sitting in like the lounge. And I remember you just asked me, and I remember you asked me, he's like, "Man, are you into fantasy football?" And I'd never done a fantasy football league in my life, and I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." And a week later, we're having a big fantasy football party in your house. I think we were out there till like 10 at night or something like that. It was like draft or something like that.
It was a long one.
That was a
Yeah, and
long
that's
one.
why I think we went to the online ones after that because
Yeah.
I think it was a 6-hour draft and all the online ones we were done in an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
I mean, we were having a good time. Throwing back a couple of beers and everyone was having fun. So I mean, I would love to do it again. But it's a little harder now, older. More responsibilities. Not everyone can get together. So now we just do the online drafts, which is fun as well. But yeah, 10 years ago, and we had we ended up going in on a season ticket, well, like a partial season ticket package. Had a blast. I think it was like 10 games, 13 games. You had the chugger.
Yeah. Everybody's had the chugger. You can't forget the chugger. That guy in the upper deck chugging beers every inning. Those are the things that when you go to a game, man, those are the things you see. Those are the things you remember. It's
well, we got some comments coming in. We got this is some.
Well, we'll talk about the Bills in due time. We'll get to them, but that's what we want to hear from you folks. As this show progresses and as we grow the base, we want to hear from you. Tell us your stories. Tell us your experiences. The highs and lows, anything you could possibly think of as it relates to sports. Tell us, because again, I always say it's a great unifying force. And in a world today where we have so much going on, and we're just every day it's something new that we wake up to, whether it's something happening here or something happening there. I think that we can all use a baseball game, which is coming up in a couple of days. We can all use some preseason football. We can all get ready for the NBA bubble coming up. If you're a hockey fan, the NHL. I think as 2020 sort of rolls along, I think we're all due for just a night out of watching some sports, commiserating with our friends, having a couple of beers, barbecues, what have you, and just sort of having a good time and just bring us back to a sense of normalcy. That's what it is, and we can share those thoughts and those experiences with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there's something about the sports that just everybody can relate on. And it really doesn't matter your profession, economic status, race, gender. At the end of the day, when you're at the ballpark, when we can go back to the ballpark, that is, but even at a bar or a restaurant, watching it around fellow fans, and you don't know them from the hole in the wall, and you're sitting there high-fiving them, hugging them, and just all experiencing the moments together. And it's just it just comes natural when it comes with sports. So yeah, we are excited to have sports finally coming back after 4 months. We definitely want to make sure that everyone stays safe. That's the priority, to make sure everyone's safe, healthy. But we want them back, and the players want to be back playing as well. So hopefully with the next 2 days, we're off and running. And
100%.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say 100%, man. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more on that. Like I said, I can't wait to watch Yankees Nationals, and then it's Giants Tigers, for the opener on Thursday night, and it's gonna be great. Like I've said before, I think the Yankees are gonna win the World Series, but we'll get to that another time. But for tonight, just share these thoughts with you.
Well, if they let Aaron Judge bat with 3 outs and hit home runs, they'll win the World Series.
Come on, man. I mean, look, Girardi was letting the
guy. Of course, it's a preseason game and they only have a few, and they wanted to get the pitch count. I get it. It's just funny to see.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But that's hey, listen, baseball's got to change. I mean, we've talked about that. So that they're incorporating new things into the game. That's pretty cool, man. I'm all with it. Whatever is changing the game, I'm all for it.
I think it was just because of this COVID thing and the shortened season, the shortened, restart of spring training, whatever you want to call it, summer training camp. Okay, so now we will be bringing on a guest. Joining us today, we have a special guest. He is the undrafted rookie free agent that has just signed with the New York Giants. He is a defensive back out of Hampton University, Christian Angulo.
How you guys doing?
Christian, how are you?
All right, it's Rick and Mike. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed. How you guys doing?
Doing good. We're
Doing
doing
great.
good, man. Well, listen, thanks for coming on tonight. So, we've been reading a lot about you. So tell us where you're from. You're originally from Tampa, Miami? I mean, is that where you grew up?
Yeah, originally born in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Grew up there until about second grade, and then moved up here to Tampa.
All right. Well, that's nice. And when did you start playing ball? Tell our viewers, like, when did you sort of start, finding that bug to start playing ball? I mean, was that your first sport, or was there any other sport besides football?
Well, I'll tell you a little backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
Originally being from Miami, and a predominant culture of Hispanics,
Yes.
many different countries. Me personally, I'm Dominican, Cuban, and Nicaragua. So my first sport was baseball,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's
Okay.
prevalent within the Spanish community, you can say. So growing up, I've always played baseball. Um, never made an all-star team for that. I'm still hurt about that. So played baseball as an adolescent. We moved to Tampa. Um, I decided to take on a new venture trying flag football, and it was much more exciting. It came natural to me, the game, and that's pretty much when I left baseball behind, and started to develop a passion for the game of football.
Now, were you a corner when you first started? Did you play all different? Or were you wide receiver? Did you try quarterback? Like, tell us how many different positions did you play when you first started playing the game?
Yeah, Pop Warner played a variety of positions. Played wide receiver, um, defensive end, cornerback. Growing up, like as I got older, getting into high school, I stuck to wide receiver.
Okay.
Um, you know, Pretty much played wide receiver my my freshman year and sophomore year in high school, and I guess you can say we didn't the kind of offense that we ran wasn't the spread or air it out type of team. It was kind of like a wishbone offense, a heavier run based offense, and that's when my father suggested to me that I should move to the defensive side of the ball if I plan on pursuing my career beyond high school football. And being a bigger sized corner, is very appealing. It was very appealing to colleges and things of that nature. So my junior year, I ended up making a move to cornerback, and thank God we're here now. So
Right. God bless.
Yeah,
Mike.
absolutely. It's amazing. And I have to say, with you going to Cincinnati and just trying to get going in Cincinnati, and you didn't really have too many opportunities, and moving over to Hampton and then truly shining over there. I admire the perseverance of you going over there and really showing what you can do. And even with just that 1 year there, the Giants see something in you to sign, and that must feel great, and we're rooting for you, for sure. And talk to us about that, when the Giants came calling.
yeah, going through those trials and tribulations, you never really understand what's going on until you get to where God is taking you, and you look back and you look at the lessons you've learned. And I wasn't the most humble individual coming out of high school, so getting to Cincinnati, placing certain expectations on myself, not meeting them, not getting the playtime that I thought I would receive, um, that humbled me in itself. Coming from high school, you know, the spotlight is pretty much on you. You know what I mean? During my time at Cincinnati, learned how to become a student of the game. Learned how to take notes on my opponent, study my opponent, um, understand how important your work ethic has to be. understand how hard, you know, you truly have to, take yourself to another level and separate yourself if you want to separate yourself from your competition. And that's something that I can say I learned in my time at Cincinnati that I brought with me to Hampton University. And thankfully, when I arrived at Hampton, I was much more humbled, um, and came in with a different approach. Didn't try to be anybody that I wasn't, just wanted to work hard. Um, you know, work hard and prove to my teammates that, I'm deserving, that I'm deserving to be out here as one of the 11 guys on defense, and that I'm somebody that you guys can count on, you know?
Yeah, I completely admire that. Definitely that hard work, and even through those trials and tribulations, you sat there and you were just learning, and trying to improve your game, and it's paying off. I mean, now you're signed to a deal with the New York Football Giants, who have a very storied history on defense. Some great defenses that the Giants have. So let's take it back a little bit. Like when growing up, did you have a favorite player that you looked up to and you tried to play around?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me that. Obviously, having played the majority wide receiver before converting to cornerback, I looked up or modeled my game. I remember being in high school at practice and pretending I'm Deshaun Jackson or pretending I'm Anthony Thomas. So I can say I definitely looked at those guys on the offensive side of the spectrum. And nowadays, I'm more so as a corner, I'm watching guys' techniques. Seeing what different things they have in their toolbox. And one of the guys' games I can admire now as a cornerback defensively is Jair Alexander from the Green Bay Packers, just because I feel like he has a variety of things in his toolbox. And as a cornerback, just like the wide receiver is going to try to set you up and may have different moves in his toolbox, it has to be the same thing as a defensive back. You can't be predictable. Right. So those are some of the things I watch for today, I can say.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And, Jair Alexander is great, great up and coming talent. And Deshaun Jackson, you might have a chance to go one-on-one with him, playing in that division, and he's got a lot of history in that stadium over there too, with that Miracle at the Meadowlands. We don't like to live.
Yeah. So Chris, tell us how you've been preparing. I mean, you got signed as an undrafted rookie free agent, obviously, when you got the call. So tell us a little bit about what the preparation has been going as the season's come up. Obviously, we have the whole issue with COVID and social distancing. So tell the fans and the viewers, like some of the things you've been doing to prepare for the season to get yourself ready for an NFL season coming up.
Yeah, obviously with COVID being the circumstance right now, we've had to do the majority of the off season virtually via Zoom calls. So it's given us a chance to kind of step back from the physical realm and understand and absorb the game mentally and truly understand the game before even taking a step onto that practice field. And that's one thing that I can say was very beneficial about this time period. As far as the physical preparation, thankfully they were able to send me weight room gear. So just have been working out in the garage, conditioning, just making sure I stay on top of things as far as that nature. But this time has given us an opportunity to truly understand the game and fundamentals and techniques and our assignments. And that's something that has definitely benefited me, I can say.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I mean, yeah, you're going to have a lot of challenges coming into the league with all these receivers, especially in that division. You got Michael Gallup and you got Amari Cooper with the Cowboys over there. and a whole host of wide receivers in the NFC East. But tell us now, you're preparing to come up to New York tomorrow, is that right?
Lord willing, yes, sir.
So how, what's entail, like they're gonna, let's kind of the fans know like what's gonna happen. Like they're gonna come get you. You obviously check in, and then is it to the practice field tomorrow? I mean, what, kind of give us a sense of what's gonna take place in the next couple of days for you.
Yeah, truthfully, they haven't addressed anything further. Pretty much, they just sent me the flight information and things of that nature. That we haven't addressed anything further.
Now, let me ask you this: you're coming up the NFL. You're a rookie. Anybody you're eager to meet? You're gonna be excited to meet. You're gonna get a little, awestruck when you see him as you walk into that locker room.
Man.
Anybody in particular on that team you want to say, hey, man, I can't wait to meet him?
Nah, one thing I can say, God's grace is amazing. Like, man, that's really all I can say. Like, it's a blessing, but I can't say I'm gonna, be fanned out meeting anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm just really very thankful.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you can say it's surreal at times, but me being big on my faith and staying in my word and staying prayerful and seeing the things that God has blessed me with. As long as I remain faithful, I know He'll continue to bless me. So that's really how I feel about things that are going on. I mean, I really don't make anything bigger than what it is. You know what I mean?
But that's a good attitude to have, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so let's so you said that football wasn't your first sport. So did you grow up watching baseball, and through your like family, or what teams did you like when you were younger?
Yeah. Man, my memory is bad, but I want to say that my father placed me in baseball, and from there we just continuously worked at it. But I can't say that I sat there and I mean I've been to baseball games and I've watched them on television, but me personally, it's not really as exciting as for me, So it's like I never was really in love with baseball. It was just something I did as an adolescent.
Gotcha. And talk to us about like just some bonds that you formed. Just playing the sport, or or watching the sport. Just people that you've come across. Whether it's from when you were younger, or who do you stay close to as far as people that you played with when you were younger, or a teenager, or through college. And the bonds that you formed.
Yeah. Within sports in general, especially team sports, you're definitely gonna form bonds with different individuals, and that's also something that I'm thankful for. Throughout the years, I've formed many bonds, even stemming back from high school, with guys that I'm still friends with, with guys that I can still reach out to and converse with, and even more recently, just being at Hampton University. Each and every one of those guys, those are my brothers, and they know that. Working hard with them every day, just interacting with them every day on the day-to-day when we were in the dorms, just the bonds that you build, man. I'm just very thankful because it's genuine love when I'm around those guys, and I can truly say that Hampton was a family environment, and that was the first time I felt that in my career. As far as on that level of just being a close-knit group, and I'm very thankful that I met those guys. Those guys can reach out to me at any time, and I still talk to a handful on a regular basis. So
that's great.
Yeah, I wanted to follow. I wanted to ask, I know you left. What made the decision to choose Hampton? You could have gone to other schools, obviously, but what was it about Hampton that you said this is the place for me? Chris?
Yeah. The thing that made me go to Hampton University, their head coach is Coach Prenti, and Coach Prenti coached at Cincinnati when I was a freshman. Like I said, I went through a lot of trials and tribulations, and he would always stay on top of me. And when I made my decision, I wanted to go to a place where I felt like the coach had my best interest, not only as a player, but would just appreciate me, young man, and the man that I am.
I got it. And go ahead, Mike.
No, I was losing it, but I'm back there.
And I was, that's good. And I was also going to ask, so you're coming up, obviously, to the Giants. What are your goals for the 2020-2021 season? Knock on wood, God willing, we have a season. But what are your goals? Obviously, making the team. But what do you as your first year as an NFL player, what are you looking to accomplish this year in 2020, 2021? Chris, you hear me?
Truthfully, I can say, are you able to hear me? It's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we got you.
We got you. Good.
You guys can.
We can hear you.
Yep. Yeah, we got you.
You guys can hear me clearly?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Truthfully, just being the best version of myself each day, doing the things that I need to do, to make sure I can perform to the best of my ability, just as far as maintenance on my body, mentally, just staying sharp. But aside from that, just being the best version of myself.
That's good to hear, man. Well, listen, I think you're going to do great up here, and you're going to have a lot of fun up here.
Mike? Yeah, we're rooting for you, and congratulations again, and thank you very much for coming on and joining us on our series premiere of the Fan Experience podcast. Yeah, we're truly honored to have you on, and the best of luck to you going forward with the Giants.
Yeah, man, all the best. We're gonna be rooting hard for you, man. We want to see you out there on Sundays.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's nice to meet you guys, and God bless, man.
God bless you, man. Thank you, Chris.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Chris Angulo, undrafted rookie defensive back from the New York Giants. Listen, I think he's got a shot of making that team, man. I mean, that defense was, as you know, atrocious last year. And 6'2", 190, can cover. He's long. I think he's got a shot. We're going to be rooting for him.
The work ethic, blown away. Everything he's gone through with, going through college and not really getting too much of a shot at Cincinnati, moving over to Hampton and truly shining. Like I've seen all the, the highlights for what he was doing there. It's, it's amazing. And that was just 1 year.
Yes, you can imagine.
And the Giants saw something in just 1 year of tape, really.
So you can imagine if he would have gotten an opportunity in Cincinnati, he could have been in that, in that conference over there. I mean, look, we both know the Giants had issues on defense. They need some, with the issues they're having with defensive backs, obviously, with DeAndre Baker and all that. If he can come in, man, and just find the spot there on special teams and do some damage, I think the sky's the limit for the kid. And he's a good kid, man. He works hard. He is the future. He's work hard. He's very, very humble. And I'll be watching. I'm a Jets fan, diehard Jets fan. I bleed gangrene, but I'm going to be watching him on Sunday, hoping the best for him. Yeah,
I mean, me, I root for all the New York teams, and even the Bills,
Well, that's because Jackie's a Bills fan, but you listen. If you bleed gangrene, you cannot root for the Giants. It just can't happen, man. Listen. Now's the time, and this is the moment. You got to choose gangrene, man. That's it.
Well, they're number one. They've always been number one. But it's I just root for New York. But baseball is a different story. I can't. I can't double dip in baseball. It's Mets and the heck with the Yankees. Yeah, so let's
do some news and notes.
News and notes. All right, so first and foremost, MLB, we touched on it, starts in a couple of days. Yankees Nationals, they're going to kick it all off. And you got the Yankees winning the World Series this year.
I got the Yankees. Yes, I do. I mean, look, man,
yeah,
Judge, just to go over really, Judge, Stanton, DJ LeMahieu's back. I think Gleyber Torres has a breakout year. The pitching is stacked. Garrett Cole, Tanaka is going to come back from that shot he took from Stanton. I just don't see any other team out there beating them. Maybe the Dodgers out there, but I really don't. They're just a juggernaut really to explode. I mean, listen, you never count out the Red Sox. You can never count out the Houston Astros. But I think this is, with a shortened season, 60-game sprint to the finish, it's the Yankees to win or fail incredibly.
Yeah, well, my Mets have not had the greatest summer training camp, whatever they're calling it.
Summer camp.
Yeah, I mean, they are playing their typical July ball, to
with no fans.
So they definitely realize it's July. Let's just say that. So it's pretty much business as usual for them. They're picking up right where they would in July in the first place. The Astros had a couple beanballs the other day.
People haven't forgotten, man. People have not forgotten. I don't care if there's going to be fans in the stands.
It's a long off season, but they haven't forgotten. Absolutely not.
They're going to get away with what they got away with. I mean, look, you and I have spoken about this. The winners are obviously them because there are going to be no fans in the stands. They will not have to endure the abuse and the sheer, just every night going to the ballpark, just getting hammered and called cheapskate, all that. I think when fans come back, I think they're going to let them have it. But I think the initial reaction, that initial sort of anger and ferocity, they're going to be able to avoid that. They're going to be able to escape that. So, will they win a World Series? No, but they'll be able to escape the wrath of the fans this year, at least for 2020.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely are going to luck out with that as far as that goes. And, so let's change gears a little bit. Yep. So we got a couple other sports. The next week we have the NBA coming back. Mm-hmm. And they just reported that they're since July 13th, out of 346 tests, 0 COVID positive results. So the bubble seems to be working, and obviously these players are, can't be around their families, can't really go out. They have all the accommodations right there on the reservation and stuff, but it's definitely not your professional athletes, MO to just stay quarantined and stay inside all the time. So talk to us about the bubble a little bit.
Oh, it's amazing. The NBA always gets it right. It was in the middle of March when COVID first happened. Adam Silver, he cancels that game with the Utah Jazz. I mean, you can remember the reaction of Mark Cuban when he's sitting in the stands going, Silver just canceled the season. He's like, what? They always find to get it right. They set up this bubble. Mind you, they said they picked Florida because at the time, Florida wasn't a hotspot for COVID. There was no explosion of cases. It was warm down there, and everybody thought they escaped that. Now, they're in the middle of a hotspot. They set up this bubble, and it's the safest place to be in Florida. They're testing all the time. All the players are, listen, it's not their typical lifestyle, but for the most part, listen, they're content out there. They're going to be able to sit in the stands and root for each other. And again, the NBA just gets it right, and it's going to be an atmosphere where they'll be able to play. They'll be able to play freely, not have to worry about getting sick. And as long as they can maintain that discipline of staying in that bubble, I think it's going to be a successful way. It's going to show the way forward for other teams, other leagues, how to sort of, how to put together a sort of a bubble type atmosphere for their athletes that they can feel safe and they can perform at high levels. And, LeBron James, when you hear his comments, he's happy down there. He's ready to roll, man. He's like ready to be let out of a cage, just ready to annihilate anybody who comes out there. And so I think it's great. I think it's going to be fun. I think, like I said, just like baseball, 60-game sprint to the finish is going to be different. You're going to be able to hear them cursing at refs. You're going to be able to hear them calling out defenses. Things that you wouldn't hear with the normal fans out there. You're going to be able to hear that. So I think it's going to be great. I think it's the Lakers' title to lose, followed by the Clippers. And so we'll see. Some people have said the Miami Heat might make a run. At the end of the day, this is LeBron James's league, and it's his title to win. And as far as MVP goes, he's it, bar none. He's the best player in the game. He's the best player on the team. No one comes. There's LeBron James. There's everybody else, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some definitely some pretty good talent out there that could give him a run for his money. Younger talent, than LeBron, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But this bubble is certainly working, and there's a league out there that could probably take a couple of tips from the NBA, because the NFL just announced that so far 95 players have tested positive for COVID since they've started testing.
Well, here's the thing about that. These guys aren't in a bubble per se. They're still working out. They're still outside of the confines of the league, the team facilities. I think once they get into the team facilities and once they start doing the constant testing and have all eyes on them, I think those numbers are going to come down. Let's hope the number going to come down. They're not going to be playing any preseason games. But my concern is that when these guys, if these guys get in the bubble and there's still an issue with COVID, I mean, you're tackling, you're sweating. I mean, you're all over each other. Is it going to have an impact? I mean, are we still going to have a season? I mean, we still don't know. I mean, college football, we're still unsure if they're going to have a season. I mean, they're full steam ahead, but we don't know. So I think the thing now for the players is to get into the bubble, get into their collective facilities, start getting tested, start getting used to that sort of environment. And, hopefully they'll bring those numbers down, and then we can get some football going on, because, man, I cannot wait for the 2020 NFL season to start. There's a lot of storylines, man. Cam Newton and the Patriots.
Tom Brady with the Bucks.
With the Bucks.
With Gronk.
With Gronk. You got the new stadium out there in Vegas going on out there. California's a hotspot. Who knows if they're going to play over there. And so there's a lot of storylines in the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger's coming back. This could probably be his last year. So there's a lot of storylines to play out, and I want to see how it plays out, man, because it's going to be one of those type of years. And let's just hope that once they get into the facilities and once they get with the teams, that they'll be able to stay healthy and safe. Yeah,
we'll also have people's reactions to the Rams' new uniforms and a new logo. And
here's the thing, man. Change is the law of life. Like, you got to change, dude. Like, accept change.
But it looks like the Chargers. It's all Chargers colors, so it's just
a Ram in there somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, but if you're gonna play, I mean, I guess they could. Well, no, now they play in different stadiums, right?
No, well, for right now, but eventually they're going to share that big stadium out there in LA. But look,
look, year, right?
Yeah, one more year, but we're all ready for some football, Erica, 100%. But look, just so we can get a sense of normalcy back, start some fantasy football leagues, get people out and about again, getting on those jerseys. It's going to be a hell of a year, man. And hopefully, we're New York guys, so we're Jets fans. Hopefully Adam Gase and Sam Darnold and Greg Williams and Joe Douglas and the crew out there in Florham Park can turn it around, man, because this is a make or break year for Adam Gase. I don't care what anybody tells me. They either get to the playoffs or he's got to go.
Absolutely. I mean, they need to assess that halfway through the season. If they're on the wrong path, they should have, they should really bring down the hatchet right then and there.
Yeah, just cut cords and done.
They
and
won't
just
do it though. Joe Douglas won't do it. He won't fire him mid-season.
Oh no, I don't think he'll fire him mid-season. But if they don't go 10-6 and they don't make a playoff with the extra wild card they have, he shouldn't be the coach of the team.
Hey, no complaints here. I didn't think he should be the coach of the team 2 years ago when they signed him.
Yeah. But another thing that happened today, and you saw when we got wind of this, was Antonio Brown announcing his retirement.
Yep.
For the third time. Listen, I think for Antonio Brown, I think it's good for him, man. If he really is retiring, have a chance to get his life back into focus, get things straightened out on that end, and leave the game behind. I mean, look, he's set his mark in the league. The guy's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I mean, what he did in the last 6 or 7 seasons is just remarkable. But he's got to work on things outside of football. Work
Yeah.
on himself, his family, and I think retirement is the best thing for him. Your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. He really should have just played his last down in the NFL because it's just it's not right for him right now. I think he's had a couple of hits that have stayed with him.
Montez perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's time for him to go. I mean, last year was ridiculous. I mean, it was just a constant show. It was just showing off here, showing off there. You know, forcing his way out of Oakland. Even forcing his way out of the Patriots. Well, he wasn't trying to, but Belichick is just like, we've had enough. We've had enough of this. We can use you for a game and then you're out. It's not. There's no right fit for him, and he really should not be playing at least for a year, and then we'll see. What next year brings. He's come out of retirement twice already, so it's. But this year I think he needs to at least take a year off, if not forever.
Yeah, I just think right now the last thing Antonio Brown needs is football. I think people make the argument, oh, bring him around the team and he's around the camaraderie. Well, you saw what happened last year with the Raiders, man. If it was the issue with the helmet, then it was issue with Mike
foot.
Mayock, the foot. I mean,
Was
it was
the foot
one thing
before the helmet? I think the foot was before the helmet.
and it's just where he got the cryo freeze and all that. I mean, it's one after another with him, and I don't know what a team out there. I mean, look, with all the talent in the world that he has, I don't know what team out there is going to sign him to a contract and just put up, with all the baggage and all the nonsense that comes with him. And especially if, let's say, you're a team with a new coach or a second-year coach. I mean, do you really want to, put a new coach or a second-year coach through that? I don't think so. So like I said, the best thing, right, at least right, Antonio Brown for him is to retire, get his life in order, and then maybe in a year or two, if he wants to, come back to the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big name retired today too, Michael Bennett. Long-time defensive player. So they also just announced that no preseason games.
Which it's kind of, I wish you would ask Chris this, how that's going to affect them, but I think that's going to have more an effect for the rookies and the undrafted free agents not. Because they're not going to have a chance to showcase their skills. So we'll see how that plays out for guys like him. But I think for the older guys, listen, they don't play anyway. They don't even care. I think this hurts the owners more because obviously they're not making any money off games. So that's my opinion on it. Look, if they play 2 preseason games, I'd be fine with it. 4 is just way too many. So let's see if it works. They try it out. Look, during these times, you got to try different things, and I agree. This is one of them. I have no problem with them not having preseason games.
Do you think we're going to have kickoff in September?
Yes, I think that the precautions that the league will take once they get these guys in their facilities, I think they'll do whatever it takes to have to play. And I think they're going to look to the NBA, to see how they sort of model that to say, let's incorporate it this way. Now, now let's say a couple of guys get COVID and they get sick. Are the players going to say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't safe. We're not playing. That's another thing you got to think about, with the players saying no. So there are a lot of variables, from here to kickoff in September. But as of right now, if you ask me, I think they're going to play.
Now, what are they, are they doing something special as far as like practices? Are they trying to, practice in different facilities like offense and defense and special teams, because that they have different,
100%.
different facilities for some of these teams, to spread out, the different factions of their teams?
That's a good question. But here's the thing, though. Let's say you spread them out, right? You have on one field, you have special teams. On another field, you have offense, you have defense. At the end of the day, when you come to these games, man, there's going to be 53 guys on the sideline. You're going to have coaches. You're going to have staff there. There's going to be 1 million people on that sideline. So there's no way to avoid sort of mixed, coming together. That's the other issue. So, we've got to see how it plays out. But, as of right now, they're going to play. I just think they're going to play. I don't think also I don't think also they're going to find a way to play. I don't think they're going to not want to play.
Yeah, so I mean, we got somebody that really wanted to talk about hockey over here. It's the the real sport. But yeah, hockey's getting started as well in August, and they're going right to the playoffs if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, the hottest team in hockey. I think it was who was the hottest team at the time playing? Was it the Islanders? It was the Islanders. Not sure, but yeah, hockey as well. Look, all these leagues are going to have issues when it comes to COVID, and it comes to. And here's the other thing. I mean, my understanding is hockey going to be the bubbles in Canada? Are they going to let American players go up there and play? I mean, Americans right now can't go into Canada, so that's the other thing.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We touched on it last time we spoke, not on the air, but the Toronto Blue Jays are they have to find a new stadium, and in America because they're not allowed to play in Toronto. And yeah, I believe all of the hockey games are being played in Canada. And there's a good amount of Canadians that are playing, but I don't know, but I'm sure there's definitely Americans, and I don't really know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, man. I mean, are the Canadian government gonna? That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's
unless they went up there early and they've been just hanging out up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, but that's interesting to find out if the Canadian government is going to let American hockey players into Canada. It'd be interesting to see that, but who knows? And apparently that the Islanders are the team to beat, according to one of our fans out here.
Yeah, where are they going to play? They closed down the Coliseum, and they're not really playing at Barclays anymore. They're supposed to be playing in Belmont, but I don't even know if it's ready yet.
No, it's funny. I drove by there the other day. I didn't see it ready. So
how's it look?
It was coming along, but I think it was Friday. It was just coming along, but it didn't look to me like it was ready, and I was just driving by. So
I've seen the renderings. It looks pretty cool, when it's all said and done. Definitely gonna want to take a trip out there. And I've never actually went to a hockey game. And
we got to do that for the fan experience. We gotta take a trip to a hockey game and show it to our fans.
We'll give some people some tickets over here. Our dedicated listeners. So please subscribe, share this hashtag fan experience, share it to all your social medias. And, we're going to start giving out some giveaways, to those dedicated fans out there.
100%, and, what we want more than anything else is for more of you guys to listen in, more of you guys to put some quotes up there, whatever you want to hear, we'll talk about, we'll discuss, we'll talk about experiences and share those with you while we're on live.
Yeah. Thank you for being so engaging and putting in your comments, showing love for our guest, Christian Angulo, great kid, very humble, very hardworking, and, me being a Mets fan and a Jets fan, I'm always rooting for the underdog. So I'm going to be rooting for him to make that team and really have a nice career in the NFL.
Yes. Go ahead. I was going to say to all our fans too.
He's got a great attitude, and he deserves a shot.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He comes from a great family. I know his uncle. He's like my brother. He's a great guy. And for all you guys who are listening tonight and are going to start following us, follow Christian, root for him, cheer for him, support him in any way you can. Because I think he's got like Mike said, he's got a bright future in the National Football League. So, all the best to you, Christian. Thanks for coming on tonight. So I guess that wraps it up for tonight. This was a great first show, Mike.
Yes. Great series premiere. Great talks. Great guest. Everyone out there, join us again on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, YouTube and Facebook, same place. And you could follow us on Instagram at Fan Experience Pod. And you could also follow Playing the Field at Play the Field Now on all major social media channels. And please go check out playthefielddating.com, the sports fans dating app, and go and find your MVP. Put in promo code Fan Experience so you came from here.
We'll see you all on Thursday night, 9 p.m.
Have a good night, everybody.